What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe. We're talking about Loki and Loki Prime today. I'm going to focus on my Loki Prime because that's where I put the time into it. But Loki can be built exactly the same way for the same effect that we get out of this in my setup. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead and touch base on the abilities. Let's start off with Decoy, which recently had a change in Update 15.3, which now does have a timer on the Decoy. Loki does deploy a holographic copy of himself, which draws enemy fire. When deployed, just so that way you know, with 400 shields and 200 health, the decoy will last for as long as he lasts, basically, based off of your enemies. Decoy shield capacity and health are not affected by power strength. Just as an FYI, the decoy is capable of inflicting an impact proc that can stagger enemies, and a puncture proc that reduces the damage of targets attacked for 30% for 6 seconds, and a slash proc that deals a minuscule 1 damage per tick, which is just something that maybe not everybody knows about. It does do status effects on it. The decoy does not inflict damage, it just has that on it, just so that we know. The decoy duration is affected obviously by power duration and having that nice tick timer on it now. Okay, invisibility. So we all know what invisibility does. It camouflages himself and becomes invisible to enemies. This is purely a duration-based thing, similar to Decoy being a duration-based thing. Strength and range are not affected in these two. So it's really going to be how you mod it up that's going to get you your duration in invisibility. Loki's vision becomes blurry when he's not in motion, and his visual field becomes more sensitive to light. Just keep that in mind. All sound effects are muted, or muffled and slightly muted, as you know that. Stealth damage multipliers are applied to melee attacks, so it's always good to have a really good melee weapon at this point. Coming into physical contact with an enemy while attacking will temporarily remove the damage bonus, so just be careful when you're hitting them. It does not make Loki silent, but firing an unsuppressed weapon while under attack, the effects of invisibility will still alert near enemies to your presence. They just won't know 100% where you're at. Okay. Switch teleport. So Loki's instantly swaps positions with a target, confusing the enemy. Okay, and you can use this on your fellow players as well to switch them to a, to some spot quickly if you need to. But basically he swaps positions, which is up to about a 75-meter range with the range mods on it, whether it's friendly or hostile. And then switching positions with an enemy will cause it to become confused for a brief duration. The enemy will not attack until it reorientates itself. So that's your chance to shoot him down, to melee him down, to do whatever you need to do really quickly. Okay, and then finally we've got radial disarm. This is strength and range. Of course, strength is 500 damage, impact damage to the specific enemy units, and the range is up to a 20-meter range. And basically, this disarms your enemies. Damage is affected by power strength and is applied to infested Oxium Ospreys, drones, the Harvester, Gristog 3, and most bosses. Despite being an infested unit, Mutalisk Ospreys are not damaged by the pulse, so just keep that in mind. There's a whole bunch of different enemies. Some are affected, some are not affected, but really you're going to use Radial Disarm when you're talking Grineer and Corpus to basically disarm them. If they are a enemy that already is a melee type enemy, you're not disarming their melee, so just keep that in mind. They will still maintain their melee, and they can still hunt you down and take you out. They are temporarily stunned, but they will still be able to go after you. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and get into how I've now got this thing put together. Alright, Loki Prime, here we go. Let's get in there. So after some debating and going back and forth on a lot of things, there's a couple ways you can do this now. You can still use the setup of Rage and Quick Thinking. It works out really well on Loki Prime because he does have such a high power pool if you're still liking that setup. With the changes, though, it's going to be a little bit aggressive, so you're still going to have to pay attention. You could still manage to die. But I decided to go down this route. I went with, of course, Energy Siphon, and I went with the Max Redirection, Max Vitality, finally. I say finally, after almost 2 years, got that up there. Of course, Max Flow, Max Power, giving us that 525 power pool, so we'll always pretty much have power no matter what we do. I'm just going to use a regular Streamline on here for 30% efficiency. And then what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on a couple things. So duration, power duration, continuity, and narrow-minded. Okay, but this is going to give us a negative power range. So in the process of doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to use overextended and stretch. And of course, overextended is going to lose our power strength. But in this case, Loki's not really too concerned with power strength based off his abilities, because Radial Disarm doesn't really need power strength. The only effect is going to be on that decoy. The decoy will die faster than the 50 seconds that I have on him, but the decoy costs such little power that it's easy to respawn him out there. But this is how I have been playing it. You probably saw that recent video that I did, and this is how I will keep playing him for a while. Again, the Rage Quick Thinking setup would work very well in here as well. If you are interested in still doing that, you just replace your Redirection Vitality, and you're pretty good on that. But it will kill your health and shields. But if you're utilizing his powers properly, that should not be an issue. If you have any questions or comments, please do feel free to leave them below. If you have a different setup on Loki Prime, please also feel free to leave them below and comment as to why you've set yours up the way you did, so others can see different ideas on how to put it together. Until next time, thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you soon.